Again, my name is Shoshana Chaim. I'm super excited to be here with you to share something that really changed my life and has changed a lot of my friends' lives, and probably the person who invited you here, if that wasn't me, because we kind of get through life and we get to a certain age sometimes and we say, well, this is just fit for me. This is how I'm supposed to feel, or this is how people feel when they get to 40 or 50, or there was something that ran in my family and here I am with it too. So that's just the way it's supposed to be. But I think from my point of view is that there's always this chance that there's something out there that can help us. And there's always this chance that we could feel 1% better in any area of our life. And for me, my personal journey started when I was told 3 times in 9 months that my husband had some health issues and it was possible that he might not be here to help raise the children past 40. And that really got us down the path to say, why is this happening in our body? What's going on and what can we do to help control that? And then we were able to overcome that. He's here, everything's great. And then a couple of years later, with some stress, some anxiety, and lots of different issues going on in my body that came from that, like hormonal dysfunction and some other inflammation going down my arm as well. And at that point, I was a nutritionist. I was eating the best food. I was trying to exercise. I was meditating. I was seeing the best practitioners from a holistic point of view and medical point of view. And over the course of the year, I was lethargic. I couldn't get out of bed. My kids were late for school every day. I was falling asleep at red lights. I couldn't feel the inside of my arm, but I was able to have excruciating discomfort at either end. And I wasn't able to work and I couldn't find an answer. And a friend of my husband said, I would love to just show you what I've been taking for my personal thyroid, how it's helped me, because it might help some of your nutrition clients, but we didn't have any nutrition clients at the time. But I said, well, what if this can help me? And what I heard on that day is that it was 100% non-toxic. There was no lethal dose. It's made in our body. It helps our body communicate. And at the end of the day, it was helping people in a variety of different ways. And I said, well, what can I lose? It can't help if I don't try it, but it can't hurt if I do. So I gave it a try. And 5 weeks later, when I went back to the naturopath, she was shocked at the progress that I had made in terms of my testing, but my energy was up. My kids had a mom again. I wasn't asking my husband for massages anymore, and things just kept getting better from there. And that's when I realized that we don't always have the answers. And sometimes we need to know what's out there so that we could feel 1%, 2%, 20%, 90% better in various areas of our life. And through that journey, I met Lynette, and I was able to share this with Lynette as well. Lynette, can you share with us for just a moment how we were able to make progress in your life and what changed?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So about 7 years ago, I started having some excruciating pain in my hip. And it got to the point, I still remember at my father's funeral, I could not even lift my leg into the car. So I had to take my hand and pull it into the car. Clearly that made a difference in my life. It was very excruciating. I had inflammation, not only in my hip, but also in other areas of my body. And I learned about, well, it was actually during the beginning of COVID. I know that's what everybody thinks about when we start talking about timeframes. And it was in July of 2020. Someone had, one of my dear friends had mentioned to me, do you want to learn more about this? So we jumped on a call with Shoshana. And at that point in time, quite honestly, I was really thinking about it as, oh, it's something that's going to help my husband. He's a diabetic. It's that's something that we thought would be a good thing. So I started taking it, and my thought was, okay, well, if I see anything, then I'll, introduce it to him. And after about 2 weeks, and I've never been a problem sleeper, so I always could sleep well. But after about 2 weeks, I noticed a big difference that I was sleeping through the night and I was having a deep sleep, and I felt much more refreshed when I woke up in the morning. But when I was dealing with the inflammation in my hip, in order to kind of keep that at bay, I was having to have cortisone shots. And the doctor said, you can only do this 3 times a year, but they're probably only going to last you 2 or 3 months. So you have to deal with it the rest of the time. And so I started doing some weight training and doing some exercising, and that seemed to really help a lot. But we went to Arkansas last winter, and so it was 2 months of, no cortisone shots, and I really was not exercising like I should have been. And one day I was walking through the house that we lived in, and I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, it's been how many months since I've had a cortisone shot, and I have no pain." And it truly has been life-changing. The one thing that I would say is it was, I told myself I'll try this for about 3 months, and then I just kept drinking it because I knew it was making a difference. So I was so glad that I continued on that journey and saw what a huge difference it made in my life. And today it certainly has. So thank you, Shoshana.
You're welcome. And I'm so glad. And I'm so glad. I remember one day you told me that you did all this gardening in one day, and you hadn't been able to garden that long. And if you ever did, you'd have this repercussion the next day and be completely, in bed the next day. So just, how quality of life changes is amazing. So some of you might be wondering at this point, what is this? What are we talking about? So what we're talking about today is a redox signaling molecule, and I'm just going to read you a little bit about what's on the bottle. And it says, ASEA Redox Cell Signaling Supplement contains active redox signaling molecules, cellular messages that affect our gene expression in a positive way, helping to protect, rejuvenate, and keep cell functioning at optimal levels. ASEA Redox users enjoy cell signaling benefits, which translates to health at its most foundational level. ASEA Redox has been significantly tested and shown to signal activation of genetic pathways that affects genes in. And just raise your hand when I mention these if you or somebody who's been affected by immune system health or inflammatory response or cardiovascular health to support arterial elasticity, improved gut health and digestive enzymes production, or hormone balance to support vitality and wellness. So if you know somebody who's been affected by any of those areas of health, I think you probably can think of somebody to fit each category. So these redox signaling molecules are made inside our cells. Our cells are little sacs of salt water, and there's a little factory called a mitochondria, and it uses all the nutrients and all of the good things in our body, along with that salt water, to create our energy systems. And it's creating these redox molecules. They're the communication, and they are the healing system that happens. But it's hard for me sometimes to explain that in a clear, concise way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I am going to have us listen to a colleague. His name is Alan Noble. To share your computer audio, install the Zoom. Oh no, hold on. Do you see my screen now? Does it say welcome? Perfect, okay, good. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now, and he'll explain very clearly with photos what it is that we're talking about today.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to watch this short video. As a health and wellness advocate for over 25 years, I'm excited to introduce you to a health science breakthrough that you deserve to know about. A health and anti-aging technology that is 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. A new category in science that for 2 decades, science had declared was impossible. a technology that many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. Allow me to start by making it clear that this breakthrough is not a vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. In fact, this technology goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and yet can impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. Breakthrough, you must understand that your body is the most complex communication network on earth. Every second of every day, your cells pass tremendous amounts of important information throughout the body. Any breakdown in this communication, this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health and healing potential. A simple example, your home is on fire and you call the fire department. They have the fire truck, firefighters, fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. However, if you don't have a good cell signal, then they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. It's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, nothing else matters. Well, what if you could amplify, clarify this critical cell signaling? Well, that's exactly what this breakthrough technology does, the world's first and only cell signaling supplement. So at this point, let's listen to what others are saying about this astonishing technology.
This is where the future lies, and this is why redox chemistry and supplements that employ this are so powerful. They literally turn on and turn off, signal every single process in every living cell. And to be able to stabilize a product that allows us to replenish that is just a phenomenal breakthrough.
This has the capability to change the landscape of the healthcare system as we know it.
I started using the product and I could see that it was real. It was a real deal.
And the way it changed my life was absolutely mind-blowing.
You know, sometimes you just have that kind of feeling that you're just going to take a leap of faith. And that's what I did.
And that became a defining moment where I started sharing it with everyone.
Life-changing. I mean, it gave me my life back. In one word, it's profound.
A technology that empowers the most basic building blocks of your body to thrive.
So as you can hear, this technology is empowering people to feel better than ever before, helping folks with challenges they may have had for decades, proving to be the missing link to better health. And it's not just health. Casual athletes, all the way to Olympic athletes, are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. I'm sure you've heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, this same technology, when applied to the skin, results in healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger-looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging, all while using the body's natural renewal and healing processes. This astonishing technology has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this short video, and I would simply invite you to get back to the person who shared this information with you and let them know if you have.
All right, there we go. So I heard that there were a couple of black bars across the bottom and the top. So I apologize for you, but was the message still portrayed? It still came through. So, and I love that he talks about the skin at the end, because skin is cells. Cells make up tissue, and tissue make up our organs, and our skin is an organ. So when we see that there is damage changing on the outside of our body, we know that that is happening inside the body too. But some of the highlights from that I want to make sure that got through is that everybody's body has these redox molecules in it. It doesn't matter where your family came from. It doesn't matter how old you are. In fact, animals have the same redox molecules inside their body as well. What the redox molecules do is they signal, but they also boost our antioxidants. And antioxidants is a really big buzzword these days, and people are eating more and more and more of them because they know that keeps the body healthy, that it reduces damage in the body, that it gives us more energy. But we have untapped potential in our body that's not being utilized. So when we have more redox, right? Kids have little ones that have a lot. That's why they run around us in circles. That's why their cuts heal in 2 days and ours take 2 weeks. But when we have enough redox in our body, our own antioxidants that we already have there are boosted 500 to 800% more, and it will help to repair damage no matter where it is in the body. So our lungs, our heart, our brain, it breaks that brain blood barrier because it is just part of our cell. So anywhere that somebody needs it, it has the potential to help us. You know, we want to redo our bathroom, or we want to redo our kitchen, and we buy the best marble tops and the best toilet and the coolest shower. And we really put a lot of effort into getting these great materials. But if we don't have a great contractor to work the project, we're getting that, you know, that tabletop, it's going to have a crack in it, or the toilet's not going to be installed properly and it's going to have a leak. So what we look at is all the other good things that you're doing, like the good foods that you're eating, or maybe you know, some essential oils that you're smelling, your nutrition that you're taking in, meditation, all of that is helping the body, absolutely. But what we're doing is we're making sure that there's something to use it, and use it to its highest potential. So when you do your renovation, it's gorgeous, it's seamless, and you've got the best of the best happening there. What I'd like to do next is I'm going to check the chat, and if there's any questions at this point, I'm happy to take some. But I do want to show you, I know that Lynette shared her story, but I do want to show you a little bit more of some other ways that the redox is helping. Oh, right. Thank you guys for letting me know there's a black box. If you can no longer take the supplement, how does your body react to the lack of this? Your body becomes reliant. So that's a really good question. And I've had some people who have taken the redox because they had a broken bone, and they were over a certain age, and they wanted to make sure that they were supporting their body, getting the proper healing, and they started to drink the redox. Well, one woman was in a walking cast, and that came off 4 weeks early. Another woman had a broken arm, and that came off 3 weeks early. Stopping the redox wasn't going to re-break the bone, right? We mended the cells, they fixed, they did what they need to do. Maybe, you know, so sometimes we're able to fix some issues, heal the gut, do some different things throughout the body. And as we come off, sometimes they feel just as good. Sometimes within 8 weeks, we do start to see that there's a reduction in the redox in the body. And sometimes their issues start to show themselves again. And that really depends on why that issue is happening. If it's because there's mold in your house and it's a reaction to the mold, and the mold never goes away, you're gonna have, you know, if you walk through your house and you trip on the brick every time and you get a bump, you're gonna get a bump every time, right? So the same thing, but it does turn those genes on. So if the body can then mend itself and heal itself, but the key is that for me, I never wanted to come off because I felt less stressed. I felt higher energy. My exercise was better than it had ever been. And my hair stopped turning gray. I stopped getting new gray hairs. And yes, it's aesthetic, but at the same time, and yes, I got to save that money on not having to dye the top of my hair and just go with some cute little highlights. But the key is that my body wasn't pulling nutrients and healing from other areas of the body. My body was in such great balance that I was like, I'm just going to stay on a maintenance dose. And although I cannot say today that we prevent or reverse any diseases, we do see symptoms melting away all the time. Although I can't say that, I want to put myself in a situation where I have the best insurance policies for reducing the chances of me ever being back to where I was or getting anything that a lot of people around me are getting. So if I can do 1% in decreasing that chance, that's where a lot of people end up at the end of it. So let me just share my screen here for one more moment, and I'm going to share a page with you. All right, let me know if you could see this. It's called Real Redox Results I can't see the chat, so Karen, let me know. And there's a password here, and the password is Redox, all lowercase, REDOX. And you're free to check that out later. Now there's a 7-minute video here in blue, and that's a 7-minute version of what we just saw. That's a 7-minute version of what we just saw. But then we look on the side over here, and we could see that there are different people's stories and journeys that have to do with bladder or blood pressure or discomfort or hormonal balance or skin challenges or irritation. So maybe think about, if you were to click on one of these, which one would you want to click on, right? And then there are over 100 testimonials here, 113. Now there are thousands and thousands, but this is just from a specific interview series for the last 2 years, where we've been taking those and putting them onto here. And if we scroll up, to number 69, let me find it, we could see that Karen's testimonial is here. Karen is on with us today. And we met in a networking group, and we were kind of sharing a little bit about our business, and something I said caught her attention, and she decided to give the Redox a go. She was having, I'll let her talk about it. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my screen right now. And Karen, can you give us a 1 to 2 minute overview of what they would see if they were to click on that button over there?
Sure. Hi, everyone. As Shoshana said, my name is Karen. And after she introduced me to ASEA, I guess the biggest things that happened for me is I was very ill several years before, and I was on a lot of medication, so I put on a lot of weight, and I managed to damage all my joints and my knees, ankles, and so on. And using the ASEA and putting on another product they have called Renew 28 directly on my joints, within about by the fall, I started in the summer taking it, and by the fall, I didn't need to use the ankle supports and knee bandages that I used to wear all the time. I either had them on or I carried them with me all the time because my joints would buckle and I never knew when that would happen. And I realized by the fall that I really didn't need to use those anymore, and I hadn't used them for the entire summer. So that's really convinced me that it was doing something. The other really big thing that happened to me while I was using it in the beginning is I have very sensitive skin, and I was getting what people call maskne. So I had to look around for a mask that wouldn't create, I had lots of rashes, inflammation, redness, and it would last for days. So I was using the Renew 28 directly on my skin, and it took less and less time for those rashes to go away. So now I use it all the time, and I don't really have that issue. If anything flares up, like if I have to use a different type of mask, I can just put it on, and whatever rash appears usually is gone within a day or overnight. So it's made an incredible change for me in my life. I can start doing things that I used to do, that I love doing, that I had to stop when I had the damage with my knees and ankles and so on. So yeah, Shoshana knows that. She can tell you a bit about that. But when you go on the website, as she said, you will see me telling my story to Alan Noble. And it's just a quick little video where, I share exactly what I'm talking about here, my experience with the products and us interacting. So when you go through, you'll see lots of videos like that with people sharing their story.
So I thank you for sharing your story today, and also with Alan. I know that it's been very helpful for people, autoimmune disease, joints locking up. We're in a situation where we don't share names of conditions here. We talk about the symptoms. Lots of people like to deduct. And I'm so glad because Karen started doing calligraphy again. She started knitting again. She's going to drive to my house one day soon. When the snow goes away, I'm super excited for that. So much has changed. She did talk about the Renew 28 gel. And the Renew 28 gel is the exact same technology as the Redox liquid. When we drink the liquid, it goes inside our body. And like I said, lungs, heart, doesn't matter. We don't know where it's going to go first, but we're able to target areas with the Renew 28 gel. So whether it's muscle issues or joint issues, whether it's our skin, whether it's that we want to make sure our thyroid is working at its best potential that we can help it do, applying the Renew 28 into that targeted area really helps the body move along. So using both together is how people are really getting most of their results. And Karen's story is big and significant. And I was just looking for David. Oh, there you are. David, can you just share in maybe 1 minute how it has helped you there in terms of your daily active lifestyle and how it's helped you to be able to do the things that you love?
Yes, well, I started using drinking the ASEA about 3 years ago. Now, I thought I had a prostate issue and I didn't want to have a biopsy. So my doctor told me about ASEA and how that would help me with the prostate. And so I started taking it, and I really didn't notice any issues. I didn't feel any issues with my prostate. So, I just continued using it because I was a hiker at the time. And I noticed a difference in the hiking. I had more energy, more stamina when I was hiking. And I also exercise a lot, and I have a lot of the YouTube videos that show the how I can exercise at a top level. And this was, about a year after taking the ASEA up to the present time, which I said was about 3 years. And anybody can look at the YouTube channel and see how I've progressed. So that's my story.
Thank you for sharing your story. And why I love it is because there was something significant going on that never kind of came up for you again, but just the hiking and the enjoying life and being able to be where you're at is so wonderful, and being able to share it with other people. And we're all going to have different experiences because our bodies are all a little bit different. We've all gone through different things in our life. So thank you so much for sharing. And as you go to Real Redox Results, you'll see so many other testimonials. There's other amazing, beautiful faces on here today too, who have great stories. But there's a question in the chat about what if you don't have a thyroid? And really what we're doing is we're addressing symptoms. We're helping the body function more optimally. We're taking out, not all of you might have basements. I'm in the basement now. So when I pick up my phone and I try to call Anne, or I try to call Karen, or Amanda, my phone is not necessarily going to make that call because there's these big concrete walls that are keeping it from going through. But when we take down those concrete walls and when we increase this communication, all of a sudden you start getting 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, and things start working again. So we have seen significant health. We have seen people significantly change the trajectory of their health journeys, even if they don't have a thyroid. And in some ways, when the body starts to connect better, and the doctors tell you that you could lower your medications, we know that medications often come with side effects. So there's just that kind of feeling of reducing your chances of dealing with other things down the road when medications have been reduced, or the body is able to counteract that. So thank you. That's a great question. So some of you might be sitting here and thinking, this might not be for me, but you might know someone who's interested in the other side of what we have to offer, which is the health opportunity and the opportunity to help others and lead with your heart. And the reason why I bring that up is because of the genesis of this company. This company was bought by a Fortune 50 CEO who was looking for, he was retired, but kind of bored in his retirement. So he was looking for one more investment to kind of help his family have some longevity in terms of their finances. So he found this tech company that was trying to stabilize the redox molecules. Now, redox molecules are being made across North America and Europe by universities and some other companies, but nobody's been able to stabilize it so that it could last more than 10 minutes once it's made, especially to be shipped and delivered to your house so that you could take it there. So he invested a lot of money into that, and there was a really great team that helped to create that. And they started to make appointments with pharmaceutical companies because their idea was, we'll sell it to the pharmaceutical company and we'll get back our investment and we'll move on from there. Well, the pharmaceutical company came in, and within 3 hours, they gave them a multi-million-dollar deal. And they said, this is significantly more money than I had ever expected to get. So what's the catch? And in the meantime, they had given it to 40 people and watched their health significantly improve. And those 40 people told other people, and then there were 140 people on the product. And the pharmaceutical company said, those 140 people on the product will have to come off of it. It won't be available to them. It won't be available in stores. It won't be available for purchase. It's essentially a huge threat to the pharmaceutical company. So that's it. We're buying it at the end. And Vertus Norte actually have this picture up here. His heart began to bleed because what about this mom? What about this grandma? What about this father? What's going to happen to them when they come off of it? And what is their life going to go back to? And how long will they be here to spend time with their family and love their family? So they decided not to take that offer, and they decided instead of selling it to the pharmaceutical company, they would figure out how to market it to other people. Now, every company has a marketing budget. So Ford's budget goes for Super Bowl Sunday and billboards and radio announcements and all kinds of things. And what this company has decided to do is, instead of put thousands and millions of dollars into educating and promoting and billboards and all of this, they decided that these people who they're helping, whose lives have been changed, when they share it with somebody else, they will send them a thank you check. They will say, thank you for sharing it. Thank you for educating. Thank you for calling Lynette every 2 weeks and checking in with her and making sure she's okay and teaching her how to use the products in different ways. And they actually send it to you, which is money deposited into your bank account. But the way I see it is, it's a great way to offset your costs for what you are already using. So that's what some people here have decided to do. And really, it's as easy as saying, I discovered something that you need to know about. Can you hop on a 60-minute Zoom? Can you hop on a 20-minute Zoom? Can you watch the 7-minute video by Alan Noble? And let people be educated and make decisions for themselves and be very respectful about that. So basically, at the end of the day, people end up in 3 categories. So they might say, this isn't for me, but I know someone who might be interested in that. And then they kind of refer that person over to have a conversation, or you might want to try the products for yourself. Talk to whoever invited you here, have a consult with me, and figure out what it is that you'd like to improve in your life, in your health, whether it's try to fix something, or just, like David now, have a great hiking life and enjoy life every day. Use the products. Or you might say, you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. And this can be a way to help people to fill a void in maybe the work that you're doing now. Maybe you don't feel so fulfilled, but also, get your product covered and maybe pay a car payment, pay a mortgage payment, and have another stream of revenue. So those are kind of 3 buckets that people do end up in. And I would love to know if anybody here has any questions, or what bucket you might see yourself in at this point. So let's open up the floor for conversation. I see that there's things in the chat, and I'm going to open that and see what's going on. But in the meantime, does anybody want to unmute themselves? And what questions do you have for me?
I would like to say that my mom has been using ASEA, and I think maybe we need to have her use it more times a day, but she also uses a little bit in a nebulizer. David has gotten a breathing apparatus, and we put a little ASEA in there, and I think that's helped her breathing. And also we, my mom, she's over 90 years old. She has a lot of skin problems and very dry skin, and we use the Renew Advanced, which is just fabulous. I mean, it's got a soap and a
moisturizer.
Yeah, and then
and the serum,
the serum, yeah. And the serum, like she has problems on her ears, and she has these patches. She had these dry patches here and here, and this is like miracle. And she's got creams that dermatologists have told her to use, and they don't really even touch the issue. So the Renew Advanced is very cool, but it's been difficult for us to get it. Maybe now that we're through you, maybe we can get it more, but that's really a good product.
Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to stop the recording.